Long ago, there was a great empire ruled by a wise and powerful emperor. He had everything: wealth, power, and prosperity. But in his heart, he always harbored one concern: his only son, the prince. The prince was growing up in royal luxury, but an invisible restlessness lingered within him. He was searching for truth, knowledge, and inner peace. The emperor thought, "My son must grow up like a true ruler, and for that, he needs not just external strength, but also inner alertness and knowledge." Therefore, he made a decision. He would send his son to a Japanese meditation master who imparted teachings on inner peace and alertness. The prince was very curious to learn that the master taught not only meditation, but also swordsmanship. When he heard about the master, many questions arose in his mind. Will the master teach me peace, or only the skills of warfare? But his curiosity drove him to move forward. When the prince arrived at the master's ashram, he experienced the simplicity and serenity of the place. However, the wooden sign outside read, "Here, swordsmanship is taught." The prince was puzzled. "I have come here for peace, but will I be taught warfare?" Upon entering, the prince found the master deep in meditation. The master smiled upon seeing him and said, "Welcome, young prince. Why have you come here?" The prince hesitated and said, "Master, I have come to learn meditation, but your sign says that swordsmanship is taught here. Will I be able to attain peace and knowledge?" The master looked into his eyes deeply and said, "You must have patience. First, spend some time here. When the right time comes, your education will begin." The prince felt that the master's response was more profound than ordinary. He thought, "I will surely learn something by staying here." After a few days, the master presented the prince with his first challenge. He suddenly attacked him from behind with a stick. The prince was startled and screamed, "Master, you are attacking me?" The master laughed and said, "From today, your education has begun. You must remain alert at all times. I can strike you at any moment. It is your job to stay aware every second." The prince's mind filled with fear and curiosity. He thought, "Is this really part of my education?" From the first day and for many days, the master struck him at different moments. Sometimes the prince managed to evade the blows, but at other times, he was caught off guard. The prince began practicing his alertness. He realized that when he was in meditation, his alertness increased. Gradually, he understood that every time the master approached him, he could sense it beforehand. After 3 months, the prince became so alert that he could recognize the sound of the master's footsteps from a distance. He had heightened his sensitivity, enabling him to not only hear the master's footsteps, but also to feel what was going on in the master's mind. One day, the master told him that he would now have to remain alert even in sleep. "You must be vigilant even while sleeping. I may strike you while you are asleep." The prince thought, "This is even more difficult," but he accepted the master's words. He endured several nights of being struck while asleep, but slowly he began to control his mind. He started to remain aware even in his sleep. When the master approached him, he would wake up immediately. 6 months passed. The prince delved into many depths of meditation. One day, while the master was in meditation, the prince thought, "Today, I will test the master's alertness. Can he read my thoughts?" As soon as he thought this, the master opened his eyes and said, "Stop. Do not think such things. My bones are old. Do not strike me." The prince was astonished. He asked, "Master, how did you know my thoughts?" The master smiled and said, "When the mind is completely peaceful, it becomes possible to understand the emotions and thoughts of others. You have learned alertness, and this very alertness will now give you the power to read others' minds." The prince returned to the palace. His father asked him, "Son, how was your experience with the master?" The prince replied humbly, "Father, the master did not teach me swordsmanship, but now no one can strike me. My alertness and focus have become so strong that I can be aware of every situation and understand the emotions of others." The prince explained to his father, "The master taught me that alertness brings peace to the mind. A calm mind not only helps in understanding oneself, but also in grasping the feelings of others. When we begin to comprehend the thoughts of others, we can deepen our relationships." The emperor listened carefully to his son's words. He said, "Son, this is very important. When a ruler understands the minds of others, he becomes a true leader. His strength is not only external but also internal." The prince now understood that alertness is not just a means of self-defense. It is a deep wisdom that helps us understand the minds of others. He observed that as his meditation deepened, his world began to change as well. He could now understand the people around him better. His friend, who was usually silent, began to share his thoughts. The prince realized that his friend also had a deep-seated restlessness, but he could not express it before. The prince told his friend, "You should share what's on your mind. Sometimes, when we express our thoughts, we feel lighter." In this way, the prince began to promote alertness among the people around him. He understood that alertness is not just a means of personal development, but also a foundation for social progress. He would meet the villagers and ask them about their concerns. Gradually, people began to share their thoughts and worries. A new atmosphere emerged in the village, one where people respected each other's feelings. The prince realized that alertness and meditation are not merely tools for peace, but they also make us better human beings. When we begin to understand the minds of others, we can foster love and cooperation in society. This story teaches us that when the mind is calm and alert, we can not only observe the situation around us deeply, but also understand the emotions and thoughts of others. Meditation and alertness provide us with a power that allows us to make our lives peaceful, focused, and inspiring. Practice meditation every day. Develop your alertness so that you can remain calm and balanced in every situation in life. This will lead you to true success. The prince came to understand that there is another dimension to alertness, recognizing and confronting one's own fears and hesitations. He realized that often people cannot express themselves fully due to their fears. Therefore, he organized a meditation session in his village where people could gather and share their thoughts. In this session, people shared their fears, anxieties, and joys. The prince told them how alertness could transform their lives. He said, "When we confront our fears, we experience true power. Alertness gives us the strength to recognize and overcome our inner fears." In this way, the prince not only transformed himself, but also brought a new direction to his entire village through alertness and meditation. He proved that alertness is not just a means of personal development, but a foundation for a social revolution.